She was just a cleaner in a grand restaurant, silent, unnoticed, and always alone. Every night, after everyone had left, she would humbly ask for the leftover food. No one really knew what happened to her once she stepped out into the night. But one evening, her wealthy employer decided to quietly follow her. What he discovered brought tears to his eyes. Who was this woman really? What sorrow was she hiding behind that quiet face? Stay with us as we uncover a moving story that will touch your heart. In the vibrant city of Abuja stood a towering, elegant restaurant known as the Golden Plate. Its glass walls sparkled under the sun, and every day, luxury cars lined up outside. Inside, elite men and women dined on velvet chairs, enjoying the finest cuisine money could buy. The owner of this upscale paradise was Mr. William, known to many as Sir Will. He was a man of immense wealth, always dressed in flawless suits, with shoes that gleamed like polished metal. Every morning when he entered the restaurant, the staff would rise and greet him with respect. "Good morning, sir." With a polite nod and a soft smile, he'd respond, "Carry on." Sir Will wasn't a man of many words. He preferred to observe, to listen quietly. He drove a sleek black SUV, always spotless. Over 50 employees worked under him, chefs, waiters, cleaners, and more. Everything in the Golden Plate radiated class and control. But beneath the glittering surface, something unusual was about to unfold. It was a calm night in Abuja. The lights inside the Golden Plate restaurant glowed faintly. The last customers had left, and most of the staff had finished their shifts. Mr. William stepped out of his office, visibly exhausted. He loosened his tie and let out a deep sigh as he descended the stairs. It had been a long, draining day. He pressed his car remote, and his black SUV beeped in response. But something unusual caught his eye. A woman stood near his car. Not too close, but close enough to raise suspicion. She was dressed in the restaurant's brown and gold uniform. Her arms were crossed, eyes cast downward. Mr. William paused, squinting into the dim light. "Who's that?" he asked, scanning the area. Only a few cleaners lingered nearby. The woman didn't move. She looked like she was waiting. Mr. William moved toward her cautiously. The air felt thick, almost tense. Something about the moment was off. He approached her, step by step, unsure of what he was walking into. She lifted her eyes briefly, then dropped them again. "You're with the cleaning team, right?" Mr. William asked. "Yes, sir," she replied quietly. "My name is Emma." Her head stayed low, her hands clasped tightly as if afraid. Mr. William frowned. "Then why are you standing by my car?" Emma bit her lip gently, inhaling before she spoke. "Please, sir, I wanted to ask for a favor." Mr. William hesitated. Maybe she wanted money, or perhaps she had a complaint. Emma glanced up for a second, then quickly looked away. "Can I take some leftover food home?" she asked softly. Mr. William blinked, silent for a moment. "Just leftover food?" he asked, watching her. "That's all you want?" Emma gave a small nod. "Yes, sir. Just the leftover food if there's any." A heavy silence settled between them, pressing against the air. He looked at her again, her worn shoes, her quiet voice, the fatigue in her posture. He nodded slowly. "Okay," he said. Emma whispered, "Thank you, sir," then turned and walked quickly back toward the kitchen. Mr. William stayed still beside his SUV. He didn't open the door. He simply watched the kitchen entrance, unmoving. Something within him had stirred, and he couldn't explain it. Eventually, he got into the car. The engine was still off. The parking lot remained silent. He leaned back and closed his eyes, but peace didn't come. That question lingered. Why would an employee ask only for leftover food? Not money, not a raise, not even a complaint, just food. He opened his eyes and stared at the restaurant door. Something felt off. He remembered her voice, soft but not fragile, just worn. And when she looked at him, there was something in her eyes. A quiet kind of pain, hiding just beneath the surface. Mr. William glanced at the time, almost 10 p.m. Still, he didn't start the engine. He wanted to see where she would go. He needed to understand why someone would ask for leftovers like it was something precious. His heartbeat picked up. "I'll wait," he murmured to himself. Roughly 10 minutes passed before the restaurant door creaked open. Emma stepped out slowly, holding 2 small nylon bags. They didn't seem heavy, but she held them close like they were fragile. She began walking briskly. Mr. William sank lower into his seat, waiting until she was a fair distance ahead. Then he turned the key gently. The SUV roared to life, but he left the headlights off for a few seconds. He followed slowly, keeping his distance, far enough to stay unnoticed. Close enough not to lose her. Emma's pace was quick. After a few minutes, she boarded a small yellow bus. Mr. Williams' eyes tracked the bus as it drove off. Without hesitation, he joined the road and followed from behind. The bus was crowded, the roads uneven. He stayed with it, trailing quietly through the shadows. The sky had turned pitch black. Streetlights were scarce in that area, and many flickered dimly. Some didn't work at all. But still, he followed. After nearly 30 minutes, the bus halted. Emma stepped down slowly, the nylon bag still in her hands. She didn't look around. She simply turned and walked into a narrow, unpaved path. Mr. William parked far behind and turned off the engine. He stepped out and watched. Ahead there was nothing appealing. No lights, no shops, no tidy homes. Just silence, darkness, and neglect. He walked forward a little. Emma approached an old, broken-down building. The walls were cracked, the roof sagging, windows shattered. Mr. Williams stopped and stared. "This is her home?" he whispered to himself. It didn't feel real. It looked more like a ruin, the kind of place people flee from, not live in. He exhaled slowly, a weight forming in his chest. Then he stepped back, hiding in the shadows, eyes still fixed on the building. And just then, the old door creaked open with a long, heavy groan. 2 small girls came running out barefoot, laughter echoing through the night as they leapt into Emma's arms. "Mommy!" one shouted. "Mommy, you came back!" the other cried. Emma dropped the nylon bags and hugged them tightly. Her smile stretched wide, but her eyes held exhaustion. She bent down and kissed their foreheads gently. "I'm here, my darlings," she whispered. "I brought something for you." From his hiding spot, Mr. William could see it all. His heart raced. "She has children," he thought, touching his chest softly. Emma held the girls' hands and led them into the broken home. Through the cracked window, Mr. William watched. Emma laid out a worn mat and sat the girls down. She opened the nylon bags, 1 piece of chicken, some jollof rice. She divided the food in half and placed it on 2 small plates. The girls snatched up their plates eagerly, eating fast, eyes shining with joy. But Emma didn't eat. She just sat quietly on the floor, watching them with a smile. Mr. William blinked, his chest tightening. He looked at the food, then at Emma. She brought food, but not for herself. Only for them. He shook his head slowly. Something deep within him shifted. He turned away from the window, frozen in the dark. Tears welled up in his eyes. Turning back, he looked again. Emma was still smiling at the girls, her own hunger hidden behind love, still not eating. Mr. William clutched his chest, a sharp ache rising inside. He looked up at the night sky and whispered to himself. She only took food for her children, and ate nothing herself. He wiped his eyes in silence. His hands trembled. The woman he once saw as just another employee was now the reason his heart felt heavier than ever. He looked again at the broken-down house, then down at his polished shoes. For the first time, they didn't make him feel successful, only ashamed. Quietly, Mr. William walked back to his car. The night was still, filled only with the sound of crickets. He opened the door, sat inside, but didn't start the engine. He simply sat there, lost in thought, eyes still wet. Staring at the steering wheel, he whispered, "I have to do something. I can't just leave her like this." Eventually, he turned on the engine. The lights lit up the road. He drove away slowly, glancing back one last time at the building through the rearview mirror. That night, he returned home, but sleep never came. He tossed and turned in bed, haunted by the image of Emma, and those 2 little girls, and that single piece of chicken. By morning, the sun crept gently into the sky. Emma was already awake. She looked at her daughters still sleeping on the mat and smiled. She gently stroked their hair. "Time to wake up, my angels," she whispered. Their eyes fluttered open. "Mommy, are we going to school today?" one asked. "Yes, my love. Let's get ready," Emma said softly. She helped them up and carried a small bucket outside. Pouring water into a bowl, she gave each girl a quick bath. She dried them with a worn towel, her hands full of tenderness. She pulled out their tiny school uniforms and dressed them carefully. Then she combed their hair, tying it neatly into 2 ponytails. From the nylon bag she had brought home, a little rice remained. just enough. She warmed it gently over a small gas cylinder. She served it in 2 plastic plates and placed them before the girls. "Eat this before we go," she said kindly. The girls sat cross-legged on the floor, quietly eating. Emma watched them, smiling softly, though her eyes seemed distant. Once they were done, she packed their books into small school bags. She handed each one a bottle of water. Then the 3 of them stepped outside together. The morning sun shone a little brighter now. They walked slowly toward a nearby community school. There was no gate. The walls were faded, but the girls were cheerful. Emma knelt down and hugged them tightly. "Be good, girls," she said, kissing their foreheads. "I'll be back soon." The girls waved and ran inside. Emma stood there for a moment, watching them disappear. Then she turned around and walked away. Work was waiting. At the restaurant, Emma changed into her uniform. She tied her apron and joined the cleaning crew. She swept the floors quickly. She mopped under the chairs. She wiped down every table until it gleamed. Her hands moved fast, not tired, not broken. She even smiled at her coworkers. No one could see what she carried inside. That morning, Mr. Williams sat silently in his office, gazing out the window, but his mind was far away. Emma and her 2 little girls occupied every corner of his thoughts. He reached for his phone and called the HR manager. "Good morning, sir," the manager greeted. Mr. Williams' voice was steady but resolute. "We need to do better," he said. "Sir?" the HR manager asked, slightly confused. "Our workers," Mr. William replied. "Some of them are suffering, really suffering." The room went still. Then he added, "Raise their salaries. Start this month. Make sure no one who works here ever goes home hungry again." "Yes, sir," the HR manager responded quickly. He stepped out, leaving Mr. William leaning back in his chair, eyes closed. Emma's image filled his mind, sitting on the bare floor, smiling at her daughters while they ate. He opened his eyes slowly and whispered. She didn't even eat. Days rolled by. Emma came to work early, as always. She cleaned every floor with quiet dedication. She wiped each table with care, as if it belonged to her. She was never late. She never frowned. She never asked for anything except leftover food. Each evening, as the restaurant wound down, she would slip to the back door. She'd knock softly and ask the kitchen staff, "Please, is there any leftover food today?" Sometimes it was just a spoonful of rice. Still, she never complained. She would smile, say thank you, pack it gently into a nylon bag, and walk away. And Mr. William kept watching. From a distance, he didn't approach her. He just watched and listened. With each passing day, the weight in his heart grew heavier, and each night the same thought repeated, how many others are like her? That morning, Emma was wiping down tables when the head cook approached her. "The boss wants to see you," the cook said. Emma looked up, startled. Her heart skipped. "Did I do something wrong?" she asked softly. The cook shook her head. "I don't know. Just go see him." Emma wiped her hands on her apron and walked slowly toward Mr. Williams' office. She knocked gently. "Come in," his voice called. Emma opened the door and stepped inside. She looked nervous as she stepped inside. "Good morning, sir," she said quietly. "Sit down, Emma," Mr. William replied with a gentle smile. Emma lowered herself slowly into the chair, unsure of what was coming. A quiet moment passed. Then Mr. William spoke, his voice soft. "Emma, I followed you one night." Her eyes widened. Confusion washed over her face. "You followed me?" she asked. "Yes," he said calmly. "I saw where you live. I saw your 2 little girls." Emma looked down at the floor. Her hands trembled. Tears filled her eyes as she whispered, "I didn't mean to do anything wrong. I was just trying to feed my children." Mr. William shook his head gently. "You did nothing wrong," he said. He looked her in the eyes and added, "You're a good mother. You're strong. You work hard." Emma couldn't speak. Her tears fell quietly. Then Mr. William said, "I want to help you." Emma looked up, her eyes full of disbelief and tears. The next day he called her in again. She walked in slowly, still unsure what was waiting. "Emma," he said with a smile, "I have good news for you." He handed her a piece of paper. Emma looked at it carefully. Promotion, personal assistant to the CEO. She stared at it, confused. "You're my personal assistant now." Mr. William said. "You'll be earning a better salary from today." Emma gasped softly, covering her mouth with both hands. Tears filled her eyes again. "That's not all?" Mr. William added. He stood up and picked up a brown envelope from the table. "I've bought a small apartment for you and your daughters," he said. "It's not much, but it's decent, clean, safe." Emma's hands trembled. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. "You and your girls won't sleep on the floor anymore," he continued. "There's water, electricity, and space for them to read and sleep peacefully." Emma placed both hands over her heart. "Sir, is this really for me?" she whispered. Mr. William nodded slowly. "You deserve so much more, Emma. You're a good mother. You work hard, and you never complain." Then he said gently, "I'm also enrolling your daughters in a better school. And from now on, you'll never have to beg for food again." Emma dropped to her knees, overwhelmed. Tears streamed down her face like a river. "Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I don't know what to say," she wept. Mr. William gave her a kind smile. He opened a drawer and pulled out a small white envelope. "Take this," he said. "Buy something nice for dinner tonight." Emma took the envelope with both hands and held it to her chest. "God bless you, sir," she said through her tears. Mr. William nodded softly. "You deserve it, Emma." That night, the little room smelled different. It smelled sweet, like hope, like joy. Emma stood over the small stove, gently stirring a pot of jollof rice and chicken. Real chicken. Her two daughters sat on the mat, eyes wide with excitement. "Mommy, you bought a lot of chicken!" the younger one squealed. Emma turned and smiled. "Yes, my love. Tonight we eat well." When the food was ready, she served it on 3 plates. The girls grabbed theirs and sat down eagerly. They didn't wait. They began eating with joy. "This is the best food ever," the older one said, chewing quickly. "It tastes like heaven." The younger chimed in, her mouth full. Emma sat beside them quietly, watching. She didn't speak much. She just smiled. Tears shimmered in her eyes, but they didn't fall. For the first time in a long while, she watched her children eat and laugh and without worry. And that was enough for her. The next morning, something unusual happened. A shiny black car pulled up in front of their old building. Emma stepped outside, school bags in hand, her daughters by her side. She stared at the car, confused. Then the driver stepped out with a warm smile. "Good morning, madam. Mr. William sent me," he said. "I'm here to take you to your new home." Emma stood still, frozen in the moment. She turned to her daughters, her voice trembling with emotion. "Get your things," she said softly. "We're moving." The 3 of them stepped into the car together. The ride was silent, but their hearts were singing with joy. And guess what? A powerful new story is coming in just a few days, so make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you'll be the first to know. If this story touched your heart, hit the like button and share it with friends and loved ones. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate you.